Hey, another day, another gimbal. Today I have the Crane-M2, tiny gimbal. And I'm just gonna talk about the features very briefly and then cut to the footage. This gimbal is made for tiny cameras like the Sony RX100 series, or a GoPro, or your phone, or the smallest interchangeable lens mirrorless cameras. It's got all the main modes you need. We've got pan, tilt follow, lock mode, POV mode for crazy angles. And then there's go mode, which is pan and tilt follow, but very quick response. And you can invert it like that. One other tech spec I want to mention here, it powers the camera. Okay, onto the in-field footage. Kobe and I just walked around the hotel we're staying in and we shot a little scene where she goes swimming, and I tried out a bunch of different modes of the gimbal. So let's check that out and I'll talk about some of the experiences that I had while shooting with this gimbal.
Take a drink. Take a drink. Walk. Three, two, one, go. Go. Walk. Walk. Go. So hold it with your right hand, okay? So just make sure you hit that spot. Lift it up. 3, 2, 1, go. Camera overheated. Go. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. Go. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so I found generally the modes were very smooth with the RX100. I had no problem switching between modes while I was shooting, from pan follow mode to full follow mode to POV mode. Actually, most of the trouble that I had during the shoot was with the camera itself. This is no fault of Zhiyun's. The Sony RX100 Mark V, which is the one that I don't have the latest ones, overheats in like 5 minutes when it's sunny outside. And if you're charging it, I believe it overheats even faster. It will overheat really quickly. So bear that in mind if you plan on this being your vlogging setup or your shooting setup. You'll have trouble on sunny days, just like I did. That kind of made my life hell. But otherwise, how do I feel about the actual movements that I got with the Crane-M2? I felt like it performed great. And it was so smooth, in fact, that I decided to take things a little further. Boom, A7R3. It is mounted and it actually kind of works. Now, I'm just amazed that this camera was even able to mount at all on here without falling over when I turn on the motors, because it's way over spec. The weight of this camera is way above what the gimbal is supposed to be able to handle. But I want to just push the limits, so I put it on here and I did some walking tests. You can judge for yourself and see how it looks.
What you got, we got it.
Both these lenses worked okay on the gimbal. They worked well enough for a run and gun kind of shoot scenario. Of course, this camera is not officially supported by G, and you're probably not supposed to use it on this gimbal. I don't know, maybe I'm burning out the motors extra fast by doing this. But I'm an ultra minimalist when it comes to shooting. The less I feel encumbered by my gear, the less it slows me down, the more I want to shoot. And the more I shoot, the better videos I'm going to make. And the really cool thing about this kit is that it will fit in this tiny backpack instead of my big camera bag. So I can just drop it in here and maybe even squeeze in another tiny lens or a battery and take that as my day pack. So what are my overall thoughts here on the Crane-M2 gimbal? Well, for a certain niche of camera, this is a no-brainer. As far as I know, there's nothing else that works as well for small mirrorless cameras or like the RX100 series cameras and is this small of a gimbal. So if you want to keep it ultra light because you're using a light camera, this is a great gimbal to use. Now, if you're using an even smaller camera, like a GoPro or like a phone, then you may want to consider using an even smaller gimbal because there are slightly smaller gimbals in the market than this. And if you're using a slightly larger camera, like the Sony A7 series, then you may want to consider this just as a backup gimbal when you don't want to take your main gimbal with you on a shoot. But be prepared for reduced performance and reduced mobility because this gimbal is not made for cameras that big. If you're using any camera that's bigger than the Sony A7s, this is not going to work, so don't even consider it. So good job, Gian. I'm really impressed with the Crane-M2 gimbal. Okay, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit like and subscribe, and get out there and make some cool videos. I will see you next time.